Welcome to FEMME FLEX Friday. I'm Lenda Murray and Alina Popa, and we are with Suzanne Davis. Joins us fresh off of the Tampa Pro. I saw you on stage. I've seen you on stage many times. Very impressive. Always in incredible shape. You did a great job in Tampa.
Thank you. I was so excited to be there. That was my first show in Tampa.
Okay,
So,
first time in Tampa.
My first time in Tampa, actually, yes.
Wow, yeah.
Good time.
Yeah.
It was a good show, actually.
It was a great show. Tampa's like no joke.
At all.
No,
Like,
it's
hands
no
down.
joke. Yeah.
From the beginning to the end, it was bam, bam.
Yeah. Always amazing athletes show up. I think pros, we have over 200.
200, yeah,
over
definitely
200
over
in
200.
Tampa.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a good turnout.
Yeah.
Despite
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, despite what? Just COVID or
COVID,
whatever.
you know.
Right, yeah. It was
So,
amazing.
It was a good turnout. I
Yeah.
was glad.
Well, I know that Suzanne not only was in Tampa, but she was in Omaha 2 weeks before that too.
right.
So it looks like you're like cruising through the circuit, right?
Right.
And I know that in Tampa you got 5th place, right?
Did I?
No, in Tampa you got third. In
You
Omaha.
got third in Masters in Tampa, but
I know
in
she said
Omaha.
did, which is great. She said, did I? But you know what? Yeah, go on and I'll say why I think you.
So no, you got 5th place in Omaha in the women's physique, right? And then you got 3rd in Masters in Tampa.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what did you want to say, Linda?
Well, you know what I was going to say? Because she even said, like, did I? No, I mean, I'm going to tell you honestly. First of all, I love women's physique. And I've been on the road with Wings of Strength and going to shows, and I've seen you at Wings of Strength shows, and you're just always in amazing shape.
Thank you.
Really, the conditioning you had,
Always.
these shows were fantastic.
And your posing
Yeah,
is
the
always
energy.
on point
Thank you.
in your energy.
It looked like you're having fun.
Yeah, like if I had to choose somebody that just really stands out, it's like every time I see you, it's like you really do just stand out. And
Thank you.
And the judges, I mean, you usually always make first call out.
So,
Most of the time I do.
Most of the
I try.
time
That's
you
the goal.
do. You really do.
That's the goal. 'Cause
Yeah.
Suzanne, when did you turn pro?
I turned pro at the NPC Team Universe
Okay,
in
Team
2015.
Universe. Okay,
So I actually got overall. So
that's
I
fantastic.
was pretty excited about that.
Okay, and then what was your first pro show?
My first pro show was in 2016 at St. Louis Pro.
Okay, you did St. Louis?
Yes, that was my pro debut. And that was a good show as well.
Did you enjoy that, being in the pro ranks?
I did. It was a totally different experience, but
Okay.
I had a good time.
You placed uh,
I placed 6th.
6th place, okay, in
So
St.
I got my
Louis.
first call outs as well.
That's fantastic. And then, have you done anything in between?
I usually do maybe 2 to 3 shows per year. That's
Okay.
That's kind of the goal that my trainer and I kind of do every year. So this will be show number 2. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, wow.
This year.
Yeah, well, you did, with COVID, how were you able to, because Omaha Pro, I know they changed that date. So were you originally planning on going in and competing in Omaha, or did you decide based on when they made the change as far as the date?
Fortunately, the date worked to my favor. So I was not going to. I was originally going to do the St. Louis Pro, but I think that was canceled or was transitioned to another date.
Yes.
So that was going to be my first show of the year, and so when the Omaha Pro moved the date, then that's when I signed up.
Okay.
It worked to my favor.
I see.
Calendar-wise.
I see. And so was Tampa, was that also on the schedule?
Tampa was definitely on the schedule. 'Cause I've
Okay.
never done that before, so
Wow.
I wanted to experience the Tampa because I know it's going to be a lot of different, a different environment with a lot of different people coming from overseas coming to Tampa. So
Sure.
I definitely want to experience that.
Sure. Wow.
So
Amazing.
that was fun.
So what else do you have on your plate for this year?
On my plate, I'm actually next weekend.
Oh.
I'm doing a pro powerlifting meet.
Oh, powerlifting.
So I'm also a pro powerlifter.
Oh, that.
I'm ranked pretty high in the 132 pound class.
So you're
And-
132 pound class. Okay.
Right.
So
And-
you are a pro powerlifter and pro physique slash bodybuilder at the
Yes.
same time.
At the same time, I
Now,
compete.
this is fascinating. Like, how do you you gotta schedule these
Yeah,
shows, right? Because
right.
it's not like you can do a powerlifter meet a week, the week of the depletion week, right? You cannot do that.
Absolutely not.
So how do you plan that?
I don't even know my name.
See, okay, I get it.
It's a fine wire that my trainer and I go through. We train hard throughout the year, so
Okay.
lifting heavy is nothing new, and so it's just a matter of putting back the nutrients between the bodybuilding show and the powerlifting show,
Okay.
so I can have at least some kind of strength.
So you have a powerlifting meet this coming weekend?
Well, in 8 days. So
Okay.
In 8 days.
In 8
And
days.
then when are you gonna return to the bodybuilding stage this year too?
I have another pro powerlifting meet first.
Okay.
Like a few months after that. And then I'm going to talk to my trainer and we're going to do a couple. I want to do a couple more bodybuilding shows before.
Well,
the
what
end of the year.
options would you have at that point? Is it Chicago an option for you?
Chicago's not an option. I think that's in October.
Okay.
My next pro powerlifting meet is in November. And it's huge. It's a huge show. And so after that,
Wow.
there's going to be the Fort Lauderdale, Atlantic, and
Yeah.
the Arizona Pro fortunately moved to December.
Okay.
So
Okay.
So I'm just curious, I always like to hear people's stories. So how did you start actually lifting? Right? Because it's always, everybody asks, like, how do you get into this,
Yeah, everybody has a story. So my story was that I worked in corporate America and I was stressed out, and so I ate and ate and ate, and I gained a lot of weight. So one day at my job, they had a health fair, and I stepped on the scale and they did a body fat analysis, and I was, at the time I was 75 pounds overweight and I was 44% body fat.
Whoa.
So I think I went home and cried that night. I'm like, I'm half fat? And that was like a reality
that's a
check.
rude awakening. Like, oh my gosh.
Well,
Yeah. So
I mean, that's
I mean, really,
huge.
like OMG, because first of all, like I said, you are one of the most conditioned.
I know, you probably get down to
athletes
3-4%.
on stage in the women's
Yeah.
physique division. So for you to go from saying like 44% to being like in the world, you're one of the best women's physique competitors in the world.
thank you.
That's a fact.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, that's
So
how
what
I
did you do
started.
at that point? That was your heartbreaking moment, and then what did you do?
That was my heartbreaking
Did
moment.
you know where to start, or how did you continue from that point?
I had a coworker
Okay.
who has a great physique, and so I asked her, I'm like, how do you look like you look? And I'm from the old school where, I thought that,
Yeah.
if you lift a lot of weight, you're going to look a certain way. Or
Yes.
I remember asking her, are my hands going to be rough? And am I going to get bulky?
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, feel my
Definitely.
hands, no.
Oh, good. Wow.
Mine are rough.
Well, mine are too, but they're not like I thought.
Even with
they
a
were.
power lifter, your hands are not rough, are they?
Well,
no, they're not.
They're not as rough
No,
as I
no, right. Yeah, I know. Well, we're not. Yeah, they're not rough. Go ahead. That's great.
Yeah,
Continue.
So that same day she hooked me up with her trainer, or who's my trainer now, and she knew if she lifted up to me that I wouldn't do it. So she's like, tomorrow you're going to meet with Tim Sparks of Die Hard Gym in Peoria. And so that's how I started. And
Really?
I was with him. He put me on a program, weight training, nutrition, and it took me 2 years to get my mind straight. Because eating whenever you want, however you want, and then going to a strict bodybuilding diet is no joke.
Yeah,
So it took
yeah.
me 2 years to get down to a decent weight. And he's like, well, we're going to put you on the stage. And 10 days later, I was on the stage in my first NPC show and won second. And so that's how
Wow.
it kind of snowballed.
Wow.
And so
I mean, that's
here I
just
That's
truly an
really
amazing
fantastic.
story.
From overweight to a pro bodybuilding
yeah.
and bodybuilder and pro powerlifter, and some of the best in the world, right? Like this is really fantastic.
Absolutely,
Really.
absolutely love this. Love this story, and it's just really empowering for women to hear that. I mean, I love this story. I love how you talk about the perception, like what women normally think, and you thought the same thing. I mean, I know you have your master's. You're an accountant.
Yes.
You worked in corporate America, so you're there, and you do the body test, and then you 44%, and then you go to this lady, and she says, "Listen," and you're like, "Okay, wait a minute," like, and it's almost like that same thing of like, "Am I going to be like muscular too big because I'm going to be big?" And I mean, and not only that, but you're powerlifting and you take on weight training.
You said you're 10th in the world in the pro powerlifting world, pound per pound, right?
Pound for pound, I'm ranked pretty high, so that's how I get invited to all these pro powerlifting.
That's
meets.
fantastic.
So how tall are you, and how much do you weigh? Because that and then I want to know your stats as far as like what you do, deadlift or so. How tall are you?
I'm 5'2".
That's awesome. 5'2".
5'2".
And when you're on stage, you weigh.
Right now, I think I weighed in at 130.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then what's your deadlift?
My deadlift. I once held the world record for deadlifting for my weight class, which was 496, and then I tried to do a 502.
Oh, empty.
At my last
500
meet.
pounds at 130 body weight.
Wow.
So yeah, it's fun.
So
it's interesting. It's a challenge, to say the least.
Have you, like, when did you discover that you're that strong?
Right.
You know,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I've never deadlift. I think the most I've ever deadlift, and I have to go way back, honey. I think the most was maybe like 225 pounds, 2 plates on each side.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I used to do in the beginning of my career, because then I stopped doing it later. But talking about that, you know, I do know, and then in my approach as a bodybuilder to lifting, right, I've always tried to stay away from deadlifts, right, because they're not going to be so good for bodybuilding, because they say, of course, you need your core to do all of that. So I've always had the impression that it's going to thicken up your waist, right? So you're not going to be as successful in bodybuilding because they're looking for that X frame, right? So what's your perspective on that?
That's a good question, because naturally I'm blocky to begin with. So my trainer has me do more lateral raises to build out the wings a little bit more, to visualize that I have an X frame. And then again, it's the way you pose.
Yeah, because you're an excellent poser, honey.
You have to pose to work with your strength and kind of, you know.
I know. I know.
So
do you wear like a squim? Do you do any of those?
I actually don't train abs or core, because that's what deadlifting does. Like you said, it trains all of your core and whatnot. So I don't wear any type of, other than a weightlifting belt to assist me with my deadlifts and my squats and whatnot. Then no, I don't do anything else. Extra.
So in 2015, when you got your pro card, right? I know that you had a really difficult time that year.
Yeah, it was about 2 or 3 weeks prior to me stepping on stage in New York for the NPC Team Universe that my father passed away from brain tumor. But you know, that's terrible. Yeah, I knew he would have wanted me to go on stage and not stand back and wait. So it was a rough.
I imagine that's rough. Like a lot of people will just give up at that point because there's so much pain, right? That you, but it's like it's the prep and then having a goal that literally pulled you, right, and pushed you and helped you to go over, right?
Yeah. So I just left everything on the stage. So I'm like, I'm doing it for my dad.
That's awesome.
I'm just gonna give it my all, and fortunately it worked out.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
So he would have been proud.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's definitely proud.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know you feel that. I mean, I'm sure you got a lot of your how can I say? I don't know. We get so much from our parents, that courage and.
That's true. Yeah. This is totally out of my comfort zone, which is why I do this. Like I mentioned, I'm an accountant by day, so I'm used to sitting by the desk in front of a computer. So this
you look like a natural to me. Like you talk, you're
animated. I mean, like really, no. I mean, I'm really into, very much into presentation. And I just clearly remember the first time I saw you on stage. and
Wow.
very impressed with your conditioning and your presentation. And like I said, usually always in that first call out, you are really. So
Thank you.
You know, a lot of women physique competitors out there, they admire you. And you know, because I'm going to talk about this in the sense of, I remember when they first decided that they wanted to introduce women's physique. I mean, it goes kind of way back. And at the time, I think the only division, I think we had women bodybuilders, I think we had fitness, we may have had figure at the time.
Okay.
And then there was a question of them taking women bodybuilders out of the picture as far as like at the Olympia. But women's physique, that it was, you know, would always come up. And at first I was a little intimidated by it. Like, what are you talking about? Like another division? But man, I can definitely see the distinction. I know that the NPC has done an excellent job of incorporating all of the different divisions and giving women a place to compete.
Yes.
And I really see that in women's physique,
Yes.
you know, and so I'm really excited about that. Do you ever get, based on the current champion, Miss Olympia, I know her, women's physique, like as far as like size, you know what I mean? Because like you start to see things change. Because I remember the transition of things, the way things happen with women bodybuilders. Now you're as women's physique. I've heard some of the women, the smaller women, not as big, not as, you know, kind of that transition. So what's your feelings on the state of the division?
I love competing in women's physique, but as a smaller person, I kind of wish there were weight categories.
Okay,
like they do
interesting.
for men's bodybuilding.
Sure.
Or like a 212.
Yes, right.
Because there are a lot of, I don't remember her name, but there's a lot of shorter women.
Yes,
and it's really hard for us to compete. Not that we can't, but we're going to give it our all to compete with women who are 30, 50 pounds heavier in muscle.
Yes, I understand.
And we're doing our best.
Yeah, and you're doing an excellent job. You really are.
Well, my question is like really in this sport, like I just want to know what motivates you and then what's your passion. So if you were to, I know that it's bodybuilding is your passion, but maybe the question would be why?
My why is I like a challenge, so it motivates me to push myself more. Because I haven't found like the edge or my max of anything yet. And so that's what motivates me, to find that edge where I'm like, oh, this is the most I can lift. This is the most I can do. This is the most I can do, period. I haven't found that yet. And that's what motivates me to continue. And it's a challenge. I mean, not too many people can go on stage and be judged in a tiny bling bikini.
Right.
And then at the same time, you know, having the mentality to stay with your diet 100% of the time, even though your friends are like, oh, let's go do this, let's go do that. So it's just a challenge. I just like challenging myself to do something that 9 times out of 10 most can't or won't do.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So if you were, let's say, if you were to be the ambassador of the division, of your division, right, the physique division, what would you like to say, or what would you like to do to inspire, or you know, give advice to other women in aspiring to do the same? You know,
that's a good question. My advice is just to go for it, to give it your all, to always give 100% every time. Every time you go into the gym, every time you go to the grocery store to get your food, just always give it 100%, because you don't want to say that you came in 12th or you came in 16th because you had that one cookie.
Okay.
You know?
Yes.
And
Well,
that
I mean,
one little thing can like.
And I would be here like I'd be the devil's voice. Come on, you're not gonna get 16s because of one cookie.
Well, you know, when you're.
How many cookies did you have now?
Right. But you know, when your competitors are giving it 100%, that means you have to give it 100% all the time as well.
I agree with you.
So-
That's the right mentality of a winner, right? Like
Right.
we wouldn't do it otherwise, and there's no other way to do it because it's gonna show on stage, right?
Exactly.
Those extra cookies will stay. No choice.
stage.
Yes, they will.
Or whatever your weakness. It could be pizza, it could be whatever. It's just, don't give in to your temptations, you know? You're stronger than that.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would tell everybody is, it's hard. It's not an easy sport to do.
Well, you've proven
continuously.
it. You've proven it to go from 44% body fat to be on stage, and I'm not sure what your lowest body fat percentage.
I would
you're
guess
pretty
it's
low.
3 to 4%.
Yeah, 3%.
I mean, my
you're
goodness.
But as a small person, you have to come in a little bit leaner, so you gives the appearance that you're a lot larger.
Outstanding. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I really love your story. That's absolutely fabulous. Not only that, but the strength that you also have to be 10th in the world in the pro powerlifting as well. So yeah.
You look great. Another reason, this is the fountain of youth, right?
Exactly. It really is. So now that's my secret, everyone.
It's a fountain of youth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
It helps. It does. And that was I'm sorry if I can say that was one of the other reasons why I got into lifting heavy weights is because genetically my family gets shorter as we age. So with osteoporosis. So lifting weights helps with that. And that's another reason why I do this.
Wow.
Health reasons.
Yep. Well,
So,
amazing.
Fantastic.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Very, very impressed. Well, guys, another episode here at FEMME FLEX Friday. Alina Popa, and of course, the amazing Suzanne Davis. Lenda Murray, see you again.